Today's portion is Ekev. It starts in Deuteronomy 7:11, it goes to 11:25. And Ekev, it can be translated like because, or as a result of, as a consequence of. But what this portion talks about, as a consequence of keeping the covenant, here's the things I will do. That's one of the things it talks about. At the same time, the first chapter, chapter 7, from 12 through 26, lists those things that are the consequence, the reward, the return of keeping the covenant. I'll skip them, and I'll pick a few at the end, be quicker. Chapter 8, this portion, like many Torah portions, it mentions the mitzvot, the mishpatim, the chukim, and they're plural, like many other places. But this portion is a little different, because this one, not once but 3 times, mentions you will keep kol ha-mitzvah, and any of my Hebrew students out there, mitzvah is singular. Mitzvot, mishpatim, chukim, that's plural, mitzvah is singular. And it says you will keep kol ha-mitzvah, this entire commandment, as if it's one. I won't do a lot of detail in chapter 8. Go read it. Last time I had this portion a year ago, verse 8 has the 7 kinds, what we call the 7 kinds from Israel. And we practice reciting. Go read it yourself. It also has the line that's in 10, 8:10. After you've eaten and are satisfied, you bless the Lord your God for good land and food. And of course, good Jews, we take everything literally. That's what we got. Birkat HaMazon, which is why we pray not just before we eat, but afterwards, because we were copying that. And still in chapter 8, 11 through 25, that part opens with, if you forget and go after gods of others, and the nature of the Hebrew there is, and don't think you won't because I know you people. And not only does it say once, it says 3 times in this portion. Followed by, when I drive out the nations, do not mistake. It's not because of your righteousness, it's because of the wickedness of the nations. And if you have any mistake about your righteousness, let me remind you a few things. And Moses spends the next whole chapter from like 9:7 to 10:11 or so, recounting every single person, every single time, and every single place where we exasperated God enough that He was going to wipe us out and start over with Moses, and Moses' intercession saved us. And Moses makes no bones. It's because I prayed for you, and my brother, and all these other things, that I moved the hand of God. Thank God. Chapter 10, around 12, though, typical of the Torah, comes back in a circle to a beautiful description of the nature of God and His love for us and what He requires. And I won't read it here either. Go and read that. It's beautiful. What does the Lord require of you to love the Lord? And this portion, that verse, it's just delicious, and it's in Hebrew, Elohecha Elohim, Adonai Elohim, El HaGadol, and it was loved so much that the writers of the verses in the Shafti liturgy just kept going. El HaGadol, El Elyon, El Hasadim, Tovim, because they liked it. It was so beautiful. They just kept going with it. Go and read it. It's very touching. What I like about it is this is the first of the couple of places where it says, you will serve Him and you will hang on for dear life. That's what the word cleave means, which is in this portion 3 times. You could do a whole Bible study on this portion. How many things show up 3 times in this portion? A whole bunch. And that's one of them. Hang on for dear life is one of them. And it continues to remind us. Remember, Israel's getting ready to enter the land. It's full of giants. We're frightened, and we shouldn't be. It reminds us how wonderful God is by recalling how He moved His hand to deliver us from Egypt. And that's the God who's going with us. Then in verse 8, once again, it says, you will observe Kol ha-mitzvah, and it's singular. And 10 through 12, we're in chapter 11, we're almost through all the hearts. This one I couldn't pass, it was really cute. The 2 generations of the living right now of Israel, either were born in Egypt or born in the desert. They have never seen a timely rain, they've never seen a spring rain. They've only known the Nile floods. You work like crazy to make sure you have irrigation channels in place before it floods, and that's how you irrigate your land. They have never seen a planted land watered timely by the hand of God from the rain. So God goes to kindergarten with them and has explained what rainfall is. And it's real cute. It says, the earth takes a drink of water from the sky. You've never seen this, but you'll like it. It's really good, and if you're hating, I'll make sure it comes down exactly the time that the earth is thirsty. I got this under control. I thought it was really cute. Well, think about it. These people know this already, right? Then towards the end of 11, once again, beware lest your hearts are hardened and you run off. This is the second of the third times it says that. But the rest of these lines between 13 and 21 are so important that they are the verses in every mezuzah, every tefillin, and we say them every Shabbat morning, certain feast days. So go read from 13 to 21, and I'm going to read you parts of it when I go up on the Bima. And then it closes again with the same thing. Kol ha-mitzvah singular. So, what's that? I'll tell you, we're done with that part. My Bubby is from Vilnius, as my uncle Yanko used to say it. Vilnius in Lithuania. So we're Litvakers. But my Bubby always said we were Vilnius Jews, because we had been disciples of Rabbi Eliyahu ben Shlomo Zalman, the great Gaon of Vilna, and blah, blah, blah. And his way of interpreting this portion, he was very mathematical. He didn't need to be. There's an easy way and a hard way to figure out what this portion's saying, and he took the hard way. And his way was, okay, it says, Kula mitzvah, one commandment. So what would that be? That must mean that all 613, all 365 positive and 148 negative, can be wrapped into one commandment. What might that be? So he, of course, mathematically goes and says, okay, how many times does it say Kula mitzvah? 3. Which commandment appears in this portion 3 times? In addition to that, v'afta, right? It says, 2 of the times it says, you love the Lord your God with the whole heart. And the third time it says, love the Lord your God and hang out for dear life. So he said, that must be the one. You must gotta love God, that's the one. And if you learn how to do that, then Ekev, as a natural result, all these other things will come. That's nice, but he was about 800 years too late, because Rashi figured that out before him, and he was late too, because somebody said it way before him. Rashi says, okay, all the other gods in the world, this is really strange. It's his comments in the Chumash on chapter 10. Isn't this weird? All the other gods in the world, they want strange things. They want human sacrifice, orgies, this, that, and the other. Our God asks us for the one thing. The God who made everything, controls everything, owns everything, he asks for one thing. The one thing that he really wants, and he doesn't order it, he asks. He asks them to love him. And odd thing. No God in the history of human experience has ever asked to be loved. And he asked, so what kind of God would do that? He would give us control of what he really wants, which is our love. 100 years later, Rabbi Yehuda Sforno, the Italian, answers him, what kind of God would do that? One who already loves us, who already knows you can't come in love, you asked for. And even they were too late, because 1,000 years before that, someone asked Yeshua, another Jew went to Yeshua, and they asked, which is the greatest commandment? And Yeshua said, to love your God, like it says, till it overwhelms everything. Everything you got, heart, soul, everything, till it overwhelms you, him, and everybody around you, so you love everybody around you the same as you love him too. The first is love him, the second, love your neighbors yourself. And if that wasn't enough, Rav Shaul after him said, the entire Torah is subsumed in one word, figure out how to love your neighbor. So the Gaon of Vilna made me more proud that we were his students, but he was way late. Yeshua was better than first. So what is the Ekev? If you're going to learn how to love God and enjoy him so he can pour out this other stuff, which is what this portion says. Love me till it subsumes everything and watch what I do. This portion does tell you some of what he promises to do. And if you look at it, chapter 7, verse 12, it says, not just he'll multiply you, it says, I'll bless the fruit of your womb. Now, a lot of us have been multiplied. We have kids, grandkids, some of us. And some of them are blessed. They don't walk with the Lord, they're struggling, whatever. It says, I'll remove every illness. Not only will I not put on you the disease of Egypt, you won't even see them. And while some of us, we've seen some diseases, and not just the ones of Egypt, we've seen some other ones, and they weren't so good. It says, I'll increase you. Many of us have come from, or been in, or whatever, congregations didn't grow. It says, you'll eat your bread without poverty. You'll never lack anything. And then a bunch of us are lacking, job or whatever. We have lacks in our lives, of course we do. And I've heard people say, I prayed for healing, maybe I didn't have enough faith, I ended up in the hospital anyway. I prayed for my kids, maybe I didn't have enough patience, because they still don't know the Lord. I prayed whatever, when I came from a congregation, I prayed for growth, it didn't happen. I prayed for a job, an income, whatever. This portion says nothing about faith, about patience, about intensity of prayer. It says love God to the exception of everything else. Love God till it overwhelms you, and watch what I do in return. So if we're lacking, if we're struggling with, we need this, we're missing that, we have a problem with this, shouldn't be our faith that we're checking on? Maybe we should be checking our love of God and how we treat each other. Maybe that's why we lack things, and then let God do what He does.